This is a short explanation of the control chart at the end of your Chapter 6 review, because we haven't gone over it for a long time and a lot of you were concerned about it. So this is the control chart, and the control chart is a time sequence of consecutive scores from a data distribution. So this is 10 consecutive scores in order over a period of time. We don't know exactly what they are, but that's okay. And it's going to be used to determine if the X value is following the same distribution over time or if the distribution is changing. So we're going to start out with, this part is usually given to you. Okay, it explains what points you're going to have over here, what values you're going to have, so that when you graph the points, you've got your time sequence on the horizontal axis, and you've got your average and standard deviations along the x-axis. So right here we're going to have 100 because that's on the mu line. And then if we subtract 2 standard deviations, and we're using the information from the very first one, a couple pages back. So mu is 100. Each standard deviation is 10, so 10 and 20, so that's 80, minus another 10 is 70. And then if we add 2 standard deviations, that's going to be 120, plus another one is 130. And then I graphed these, so our first score is 90, which is right here in between 180. And the second one is 109, which is really close to 110. These don't have to be exact, they just have to be sort of close. And then we've got another one down here, and then one right on the average at 100. A little above, right on the average, a little above, a little below, and then all the way up here. Okay, so that is these 10 scores graphed onto this control chart. Okay, now in order to read the control chart, if it has none of the warning signals that are listed over here and also in more detail on page 257, then we say that it's staying the same and it's in statistical control. If one or more of the out of control signals is present, then X is said to be out of control, which refers to the distribution, and no longer following the target probability distribution. So this is kind of an important chart. It kind of predicts what our X is doing. So the first signal is if one point falls beyond the 3 standard deviation level. So this is the 3 standard deviation level right here, above and below, and we don't have any beyond that range. Okay, the second one is if there are 9 consecutive points on one side of the average, okay, which means that the majority in a row are above the average or below the average. That's a warning signal that maybe your mean, your average, your mu, is no longer appropriate for the distribution. Clear sign that your distribution is changing. We have 1 here, and then it goes down, and then 1 and 2, and then the average, and then 1 up and 1 down. So we clearly don't have 9 consecutive points that are on one side. And then finally the last one, the last out of control signal, is if 2 or 3 consecutive points are beyond the 2 standard deviation level. So that's going to be right here, between 2 and 3. Okay, and also down here between 80 and 70 and 120 and 130, and we don't have any points at all down here and only 1 here. So you would have to have 2 or 3 consecutive ones, and we don't. So answer is no to all 3 of these. So since we don't have any of those present, then we would say the distribution is in statistical control, since none of the out of control signals are present. Okay, so if you have any questions over this, just let me know, and I will get back to you on that. You can email me or ask me in the morning before the quiz.